Hi, and welcome to another edition of Mainstreet TV. I'm your host, Stephanie Elworth. Today we are here at the Friends of Mainstreet Downtown Recognition Breakfast. This is a first-year event, and it is an opportunity to thank all of our sponsors that have participated in the Friends of Mainstreet program. On today's program, we're going to have some highlights from the breakfast. We're going to have the opportunity to hear from our guest speaker, Mike Stevens, our Mayor Pro Tem, John Childroth, and some closing remarks by our Mayor, Mickey Thompson.
I want to welcome you to the first annual Friends of Mainstreet Awards Banquet. The goal of this breakfast this morning is to thank all of you, for attending, and secondly, thank you for giving to us throughout the past year. The financial support and the volunteerism that you have given to us has allowed us to be able to put on several different types of programs through the course of the year, and we wanted to make certain that what you have given didn't go unthanked. So I want to say definitely thank you again from our department, from the City of Douglasville, and from the Downtown Development Authority.
I'm pleased to be here again. Right now, my role in the community is serving as chair of the Chamber of Commerce. I've been involved for a number of years. I've been here about 12 years in the community. Started working in the community with Regions Bank. That's what brought me here, and was there about 11 years, and then recently joined Ken Barber to start Metro Bank. And very excited to be a part of the community, have continued my service in the community. But I will tell you that I'm an accidental volunteer. And for those of you that want to know what that means, if you know Jimmy Haddle, and probably most of you in this room know Jimmy Haddle, Jimmy and I shared offices in the same building here in downtown. And Jimmy is famous for talking as he walks, and he walks very fast. And he came flying by my office one day and said, "Hey, I need you to be the treasurer of Leadership Douglas." And before I could even say yes or no, he was already down the hall. So that began my career as a volunteer. And very, very happy to say I was involved in that organization for a number of years, eventually served as co-chair of the board of directors of Leadership Douglas, and was excited to be a part of that. It's a very worthwhile organization. It contributes a lot back to the community. It's a wonderful means to learn about the community, learn the strengths and challenges we face. So I was glad to be a part of it. But that was what I always tell everybody is my involvement as an accidental volunteer is excuse me, letting Jimmy Haddle grab me as he went flying down the hallway to his office and get me involved in the community. And Stephanie asked me, she said, what are the benefits? And of course, everyone knows the benefits are you can identify opportunities and affect change in the community. Those are the obvious benefits of being involved in the community. What I want to talk a little bit about is what does it take to be a good volunteer? What does it take to be someone who adds something to an organization? I don't think we talk about that, enough, and I can give you my personal views. I'm sure you've got your own, but I'll tell you that one of the things that I think is fundamental is a problem saying no. You have to have a willing spirit. You have to be willing to take time to be involved. So a problem saying no is probably one of my biggest faults, and I'm learning that trait. I'm learning that trait as a commercial banker. Some days you have to say no. As tough as that is, you do have to say it occasionally. I think you have to have an honest eye for the strengths and weaknesses, not only in the project you're involved with, but also yourself. You need to know what you are strong at and what you are challenged at. When you step in and are asked to be involved in an organization, if you're not good at fundraising, don't raise your hand to say, "I'll be the key fundraiser." Don't set yourself up to not be the best you can be in that organization. So identify your strengths and weaknesses and truthfully bring those to the table when someone asks you to be involved. Also assess what it is that's strong in the strengths of that organization you're asked to be involved in. If it is something you have a passion about, those are the easy yeses. But if you're asked to be involved in something and you're not quite sure, ask the questions to identify what are those strengths and weaknesses of that organization so you know if you're a good fit for it. The last thing you want to do is be asked to spend what little free time away from your family and your career you have to do something you don't have a passion for. So be sure you ask those questions. Another thing is being the willingness to give of yourself. And we all say we can find an extra hour in the day, but you have to also be willing to give of your talents and your treasure. And I think you have to go into an organization prepared to realize that things don't happen for free. You do have to be willing to be a steward of your talents and time, but also your treasure. So understand that and understand the commitment you may have going in. So ask those questions again. What is it you expect of me? What is the time commitment? What talents do you think I have that can strengthen your organization? And then what is the financial obligation, if there is any? Excuse me, you have to forgive me, I'm getting over a bout of bronchitis, so I'm a little hoarse here. One of the things I feel very strongly about is be unselfish about who gets the credit. It's amazing what gets done in an organization if you are unselfish about who gets the credit for getting it done. I think that is one of the key things, because if you, again, give of yourself freely, you don't care who gets the credit as long as it gets done for the organization. So that's a key thing for me, is be unselfish about that aspect. Become educated about the organization. If you're going to represent their organization, be sure you know what it is they do, know what it is they stand for, know what their goals are, know what their accomplishments are. For the Mainstreet project that I've been asked to speak for, they've done some wonderful things. They're a new organization under the Downtown Development Authority, but they're very fortunate to have a strong base of support, and we're proud to be here for them today. And then I'll tell you, the last thing is, and like I said, short and sweet, understand what it takes to be a good board member. If you're asked to be involved from a volunteer basis, that's great, and do everything you can for that organization. But if you're asked to step on the board, be sure you understand what it takes to be a good board member. There's several people in here that I have served on boards with in the past. Mike Blackwell and I serve on the Boys and Girls Club board right now. We're also involved in the capital campaign. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you. We're also involved in the capital campaign to build a new teen center here in the community. And for those of you that don't know, there's a tremendous need for a teen center in our community. And I'll tell you, I gave you Jimmy Haddle as an example. That gentleman right there that just brought me a glass of water is a good example of a servant leader, Doris Isaacs. If you don't know Doris, I think Doris will be out there laying bricks on that teen center when we start building it. She has such a passion for it. But I tell you what, please understand what it takes to be a strong board member. Know what it takes to run an effective meeting and how to participate in that meeting effectively. So those are some of my ideas about how to be an effective leader in a community, how to be an effective volunteer. I'm sure, as I said, I'm preaching to the choir here. There's so many people in here who've done so much more for a longer period of time, but I'm just honored to be here and asked to be a part of the organization and the celebration we have here today. So I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
My name is Pat Smith, and I'm chair of the organization committee for the Downtown Development Authority. And I'd like to welcome all of you this morning. We're very excited to see the room full. I am very passionate about the Friends of Main Street program and about the Downtown Development Authority. This, and again, I'm very proud of it. The organization committee has worked very hard on this program, and we appreciate all of you who participated in this first year. It's a nonprofit organization devoted to revitalizing the downtown area of Douglasville. Greystone Power, plaza level sponsor. And the Central Douglasville Business Association as a fountain level sponsor. Omega Learning Center. Wink Travel, is Patty here? And Proforma, brick level sponsor.
Thank you guys once again for sharing breakfast with us, and as Pat has said, as I've said, and even Mike Stevens, we do appreciate what you do. We do appreciate those funds because they help to put on the programming that we have, including festivals and facade grants. And at this time, I would ask our Mayor Pro Tem and actually our Downtown Development Authority board member as representative of City Council, John Shildroff, if he has any words, and our mayor, if they have any closing comments for you guys this morning.
We certainly do. The elected officials of the city of Douglasville, and I believe everybody that lives in the city of Douglasville, appreciate the volunteerism in this city. I've been on the been on city council now for almost 3 years, and I've seen it grow. We've got a lot of things going downtown with Pat, actually was the instigator of the Main Street program. The Friends of Main Street, and since we've added Stephanie to the staff, volunteers have almost like come out of the woodwork, and we do appreciate that.
Well, it's certainly my pleasure to be with you and join you today. And thank you for all that you do. And you know, we're really not much different than any other city with respect to this. And it's usually a small group, a core group of people that are involved in almost everything. And when I look around the room today, I see that group of people that I see at almost every event that I have the opportunity to attend. And you are the ones that really make Main Street and the other organizations that we have here in the city such a success. And I thank you for that.
The Friends of Main Street program is a membership program in which individuals as well as businesses can participate. They sponsor events, they contribute in-kind services as well as financial contributions so that our program in the downtown runs very smoothly. One of the other things that is very important about the Friends of Main Street program is our facade grant program. A lot of the contributions from our Friends of Main Street members go directly to improving the aesthetics of our downtown. If you're interested in becoming a Friends of Main Street member, you can visit our website at visitdouglasville.com.
You know what, I can remember when I used to work at the drugstore that's located now where the Irish pub is. It was O'Neill's Drugstore. That was a great place to work. I don't guess Dr. O'Neill knew it then, but it was such a popular spot in town, I probably would have worked for nothing just to be up there. But I think one of the things that I always laughed about was one time we served Coca-Cola, and back then you had to put the Coca-Cola in a fountain, and it was poured out of gallon jugs. And some of the brown liquid looked like something that was used for medicinal purposes. And it was one of those things that people would use in the springtime of the year sometime, and it did certain things for your body. But anyway, one time the man, by mistake, we poured it in the fountain. And this guy would come in every morning and he'd prop up on the counter and he'd say, "Dottie," he says, "give me a Coke-Okie-Doke." So that morning I gave him a Coke-Okie-Doke and he stirred it up and he took about 3 swallows out of it and got a real funny look on his face and he disappeared. You know, we didn't see him for 3 days. So when he finally came back, he came in, he looked at me, he propped up on the counter and he says, "Dot," he says, "give me a Coke-Okie-Doke," but says, "please leave out that oop-oopie-doop." So I don't know whether that was a story made the town for a long time.
Hi, my name is Jason Croft. I am the chef and the kitchen manager over here at the Irish Bread Pub in downtown Douglasville. Today I'm going to show you a traditional Irish favorite that people around here have really opened up to. It's traditional corned beef and cabbage. First off is we use the secret ingredient is we marinate it and it cooks in beer. Of course, all the Irish people are saying yes, that's what they want. We cook it in Smithwick's. It's a traditional Irish ale. It's a dark ale. And we usually put a pitcher of that in. And it allows, when it cooks, it also will color the meat a little bit and give it that flavor but also give it a nice dark color for it. Also, we'll add to it, we'll add celery. Now what celery does is like any traditional pot roast, it'll give it a flavor, but with the corned beef, it's a pickled beef. So it adds a really nice touch to it. And the difference between a corned beef and a beef brisket is the fat, and that is pickled. It's a pickled beef, and it has a lot of fat layered up on the top. When you cook it, the fat allows for it to stay moist and juicy, also for it to fall apart, also, and gives it a really terrific flavor. We start with the corned beef. We'll turn the corned beef over on the back side of it, and leave the fat on the bottom, and then we'll take some steak seasoning that's got ground peppercorn, garlic, salt, pepper, and all we'll do is we'll cover the bottom of it nice and evenly. Then we will place it in the pan, brine. We're gonna lay it with the fat side up to allow when it cooks the fat to drip in. And then we'll cover the top with the same thing. And then the other spice, the seasoning that we will use, is a dill seasoning. It's got capers, dill, a lot of things. What they use when they dill pickles and things. We'll place that over the top of the meat, and that's where you get that distinct flavor that is called, corned beef. Very acquired taste. Out of these 2 corned beef, these are, right now we have about 25 pounds of corned beef right now. We'll get about 15 to 20 servings out of it, because we're here all about giving big portions here at the pub. We want you to get your bang for your buck. We're not trying to starve you to death as you would any gourmet restaurant. Next, what we'll do is we'll take plastic wrap and seal it up really tight. And the reason for the plastic wrap is only while it's cooking in the oven, it also will steam it. It will allow all the moisture and stuff to stay in of it, so where you get more of the juices and stuff to stay in. They don't cook out. Then we'll seal it with aluminum foil on that top layer. Really tight. You don't want none of the heat, steam, anything to escape out of it. Well, after we wrap this and everything, we're gonna put this in the preheated oven at 325 degrees. We're gonna let it cook for 4.5 hours till it reaches a temperature of about 160, 165 degrees. Once we put these in the oven, next I'm gonna show you how we do the cabbage and the red bliss potatoes to complement the rest of this dish and to where you get our traditional corned beef and cabbage. Next up on the corned beef and cabbage, we're gonna show y'all how we do the red bliss potatoes and the cabbage, which is really simple and doesn't take no time to do. First off, we're gonna make a stock, chicken stock, using culinary chicken base. It's a lot simpler than boiling your chicken for about 45 minutes, getting the stock, draining it, taking all the bones out. So we'll do about 2 tablespoons of it. So on the red bliss potato, make sure you wash them first. But take them, and all we do is you cut them in half. Allows, when we put them on the plate, allows for a greater plate presentation. Makes them take a little bit longer to cook, but like I said, we're at the pub, we're here for bigger portions, not larger prices. With ours, we like using a little red onion to give it that little bit of a kick to it. And last but not least, we add chicken seasoning, Montreal chicken seasoning, over the top. And then that's it. We'll let them cook on medium heat for about 45 minutes till they're not quite done all the way to where they're soft enough to eat. Then with cabbage, what you want to do is you got the core running through it like you do on a lettuce head, iceberg. If you cut down the middle, right here's the core, the hard stem. All you do is just cut that out, go around it, cut it out. Then you can cut cabbage pretty much any type of way you want to. We just prefer to just quarter it. Then the last thing we'll add is some more chicken seasoning to help that chicken stock. Potatoes and the cabbage are now cooking. They'll cook for about 45 minutes until you don't want them to be overdone. You want to make sure the potatoes are soft enough but still hard enough to stay firm. So while those are cooked, let's go get our corned beef out and let's show the end product of it. All right, now we're going to check on our corned beef to make sure it's right. So we're going to cut it open to reveal the product. Then we're going to check the temperature of it. We're going to make sure that it's at the right temp to be fully done. 160 degrees is what we're trying to shoot at for that, between 155 and 160. And that's at 165, so it's perfect. So now we're going to remove the corned beef, slice it up, and get ready to show you the presentation of it. By the way, corned beef, as you can see, still the corned beef has a lot of fat on it. And that's just because it's a pickled beef, but also it keeps the moisture in. So when you cook it, you don't get that dry shoe leather type meat, you know, like a football. You want to make sure it maintains that moisture. So we'll slice it in about 1/4 inch slices. But as you can see, how it runs is nice, juicy. No knife needed for this. Then we're going to place it in one of our pans so that it'll stay nice and hot. Then one of the final things, just so that we can keep the meat, so when we do keep it hot and ready to serve, that it doesn't dry out during the whole time, is we take the leftover juices and the marinade that we cooked it in, and we just place it over the top. Also, that'll allow it to still keep its flavor, but at the same time, keep it moist. All right, now let's find out if our cabbage and potatoes are done. And looking at it right here, ah yes, perfect. Perfect, all ready. Looking nice. And as the potatoes, as you can see, they're soft, but they're not too soft. They're not like mashed potatoes, and that's the way you don't want them like mashed potatoes. So let's plate it up and show you what our corned beef and cabbage is. First, we'll start off with our cabbage. Then we'll do with the potatoes. Give it that nice full presentation. Then we will do our corned beef. We'll take two. We'll just layer it. Right over the top like that. All right. Here's our corned beef and cabbage. Nice full plate presentation. That's a lot of food to eat for the money that you get. Well, there's the finished product. I really did enjoy showing y'all today how we made this, and I don't know, if I do say so myself, that smells awful good. I think I'm hungry right now. This is our corned beef and cabbage. As you can see, terrific dish. We have it every Wednesday night on our Irish night, St. Practice nights, which is the 17th of every month. Come out, we'll have it. And I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm gonna eat me some of this corned beef. Thank you for allowing me to show you our dish today, and look forward to seeing you at the club soon.
Thank you for joining me on another edition of Mainstreet TV. We've had a great opportunity to look at our Friends of Main Street program today, to get some information about downtown revitalization. We'll see you next time on another edition of Mainstreet TV.